Hello, everyone. We're here to talk about the finale to this trilogy. Yep, yep. There's a. This was, I guess, to explain. This It was kind of okay. So there was a lot of studio interference with this movie. So, the director let they were He was planning thinking about doing a fourth one, but because he was worried that the studio would interfere, he was like, "Nah, I'm done." So they kind of ended the trilogy there. Um, Kinda, yeah. Muted. I hear her. Did you, OBS. It's no one you can hear her. Did you did you touch anything? Was there any when you were messing with the settings earlier, you didn't hit your output or something? Or input? Huh. That's weird. This is new. I've never but I can hear her fine, but you guys can't. That's
I figured it out.
different.
I could have sworn I unmuted myself. Did I hit the wrong mic button? Is there another? Do I have another mic on here? You guys can hear me now, right?
We good? We all fine here?
Can you guys hear me now? Can you hear me
Oh, I get yes, yes.
now? Okay, good. All right. I hit the unmute button, but apparently I didn't hit it hard enough. I swear I hit it
You gotta punch it.
because I unmuted it first and then I switched, but apparently it didn't work. Captain
Huh.
Spike, hello, Lucifer darling, MXC. Hello, alright, start over.
Yeah.
Okay, hey everybody, welcome back to Nothing Nerdy. I'm here with the Inspector who reacts, and we're here to talk about Spider-Man 3. Because I'm trying to
Yep.
catch up before the new Spider-Man movie comes out. Okay.
Yeah. So yeah, I was telling you about there was studio interference with this one because um uh it's one of those things where it's like, why do the studios have to interfere after the director's done a really good job or something like
I
that?
don't know. These movies really did come out good. Like, I really thought that I was gonna hate the third one. Like, not hate it, but I really didn't think I was gonna like it. But,
Yeah.
I thought it was good. And, they really, and I feel like that's hard with certain movies except for Star Wars. But, like, as you keep adding on to, like, a story with each passing movie, I feel like each movie kind of
Yeah.
keeps getting worse. Nothing's ever as good as the first, but I felt like they did pretty good.
Now, here's the funny thing. This is actually not a lot of people's like the people say this is the worst one of the trilogy, basically. Fans really didn't like this one, which I understand the reasons. I actually really like this one, probably a lot more than I should, but I really enjoyed this one,
I
probably more than one and
enjoyed it
two,
too.
strangely enough.
I don't know. I don't know people's exact reasonings. I mean, it did make me feel uncomfortable, but like in a
Hmm.
good way. Peter is not the Peter that we
You
knew.
understand what's going on, sort of a thing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the a lot of it was uncomfortable again because of how Peter has changed, and watching when he goes through
Hmm.
with his relationship with Mary Jane and his
Yeah.
relationship with Harry. Like, it's all very like uncomfortable, like, because it's
Yeah.
it's painful to watch or whatever.
Yeah.
But the ending, like, I felt like there was just a really powerful message, and that it was really beautifully
Yeah.
done.
That was
So
it. It really ends on this bittersweet moment.
yeah,
Like you don't really know what it's like there's no words about what's gonna happen afterward, but you kind of feel like they're gonna be all right.
yeah.
But it's like they've been through a lot.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It's it, it's a, it's kind of like it hits harder now than it did back then for me. Like I think I like this movie more now than I did because there's a lot of great memes from this movie too.
Well, I recognize the soundbite from TikTok. Held that good in there. That's a
Uh,
sound that they use on TikTok repeatedly.
oh yeah, and
I never knew where it was from. Now
yeah,
I know.
we have this is the introduction of Bully Maguire, the like emo spider emo Peter
Bully McGuire or Billy McGuire? Bully.
bully
Okay.
yeah, because he's yeah.
Garfield movie.
I I could just
The
like
cat?
there's some people have done like when they when they kind of like are able to like
I'm kidding.
Photoshop like a character into
Mm-hmm.
another scene in a movie or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Like somebody has actually like Photoshopped like Peter into like Star Wars, into Marvel MCU movies and stuff. Like they just done like an insane amount of stuff with this one little moment or character.
I haven't seen any
They
of
just
it.
had fun with it, and it's like I love it now. It's like, it makes me love this segment, or at least when he's all weird or like
Weird.
what was weird back then is how ridiculously funny now.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how to explain it.
Yeah.
Time. It's like prequel memes is what happened basically. Like the
Mm-hmm.
prequel memes have made some scenes just hilarious because of the time and everything that they've added.
Yeah. When I first saw the prequels, obviously I was just like so excited, and I took it all very seriously. But like as I got older, you start to see the humor in
Yeah.
in it, especially when
Yeah.
now that all the memes are going around.
Classics, baby.
Yeah. But yeah, so
Yeah.
um
Um
so I like, again, I like this one, and I really didn't think that I would. Like, I was pleasantly surprised, but like I said, it was uncomfortable to watch because our characters change, they're in different places, and
yeah.
like I think Spider-Man 2 only took place, like, was it a few months after the first one?
It was like I think a year or a
Maybe.
couple of years or something. Like time had definitely passed, and I feel like the same amount of time had passed for this one too.
Oh,
Because it
okay.
really feels like they say like years have passed since he got bit or something like that. So it's been a while.
I felt like more of a time
Um,
gap between this one and the second one as opposed to the first and the second one. Um,
yeah.
but I'm not really sure. I'm sure somebody in the chat could tell us. Did you recognize Gwen Stacy? Hence, she directed an episode of The Mandalorian.
Yeah. That's Bryce Dallas Howard. Yeah. That was the blonde girl lady.
No,
Who's
no, that wasn't her.
yeah. Yeah, it was. It was her. That was Gwen. That yeah, she played. She was in the movie.
I mean, it was 13 years ago. I guess she would look different.
She doesn't look that much different, honestly, but yeah,
But
this
she
is
has
like
red hair now. I mean, she had blonde hair
yeah,
in
no,
the
that's
movie.
that's
She
the
was
funniest
younger.
thing is like so Gwen Stacy is a character from Spider-Man comics, but it's funny that you have you have a redhead playing a blonde, and then there's Kristen Dunst who is a blonde playing a redhead.
Crazy. I have to.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I have to take a second and look at her again.
Yeah.
Because obviously I believe you, but I just need to see this for myself. And it's like I feel like I could pick her out of a crowd. Like, I mean,
Wow. It's the blonde hair. It threw you off. You're just not used to seeing her with like pale white blonde hair or something like that. It's red hair. It's like her.
you know, what, let me look up the picture of her in the movie. Gwen Stacy.
A little careful.
Not Gwen Stefani. No, not Gwen, not the costume. Oh,
yeah. Just type in Bryce Dallas Howard, Gwen Stacy. Or something.
Gwen Stacy has a costume? Is she a
Bryce
Marvel
Dallas Howard.
character? Like a superhero?
Yeah, she's a Marvel character. She's I'll explain, but be careful because I'll have to explain. Yeah, yeah. Type in like do Bryce Dallas Howard because there's
2000. Let me put in 2007. No, that's 2008. 2007. Oh, you know what? In certain images, I can see it.
yeah.
But in certain ones, I cannot.
Yeah.
But I can see it now.
Yeah.
I can't believe that
I
was
think
her.
another reason this movie wasn't liked very much is because for Spider-Man fans, like people who expected the source material and stuff, there's a lot of like things aren't exactly as they should be in this movie, sort of a thing. Like Venom is one of them. Gwen is another one. Yeah, there's a lot of kind of like it's more like they're more like references rather than like taking the characters and bringing them into the story or something. But yeah, so
I lost
Gwen,
YouTube. I'm listening.
huh?
I lost YouTube. I'm still live, right?
Oh yeah.
I am still live.
Can they?
I lost YouTube.
Yeah.
I accidentally hit a button when I put my phone down. Oh, here I am.
Create, manage,
You all
and
good?
grow your
Yeah,
business
sorry, guys.
with Wix.com. Your website is
A button when I put my phone down. Oh, here I am.
Wait. Hope we're still alive because.
We are still live. I
Okay.
just have
Yeah,
to find
we're
the
still
chat.
alive. Okay.
How do I get the chat? I can't do anything right.
Yeah. What do you? Okay. Real quick. So, what did you think of Gwen in this movie?
Here we are. Okay. Hot mess, yes. What do I think of her in this movie?
Yeah.
So I feel like she's innocent in all this. Like,
Yeah.
you know, it's like you want to hate her because she's kind of like a threat to Mary Jane, but like I appreciated the scene when they were at the nightclub or whatever, and
Oh, she like
she
realizes
apologizes to Mary Jane, like when she realizes he was doing all that to make her jealous.
Yeah.
She like realized it and apologized to her. I was like,
Yeah.
That's
It's one of those things
right
where like when I was younger and I watched those things, I was just like, I don't want to watch this. But now as I'm older, I'm like, man, there's some interesting like storytelling beats that I really didn't pick up on. Like now that I've rewatched this one, it's like really that's one of the other thing is I realized that this series of movies does a lot of good visual storytelling. With its some things like you see Peter, he's like especially in the beginning when you see Peter, he's gonna get a like a wedding ring, and then he kind of gets that he's going to propose to Mary Jane, which is, gosh, it's so brutal how it's like he's so close. He's like so close to like just telling her like because like basically cementing his love for her, and she's like, she's got problems that he's not. They're both having problems and not working out. They're like so close, but they're misaligning every time at the point to have the conversations, whatever they're talking about.
Yeah. And that's where you really see that he's changed. Like in the beginning, he wants to propose. You're like so excited, like, oh yes, oh they're perfect for each other. He loves her so much.
Yeah.
Like they're gonna get married, yay, finally. But then like when they sit down to dinner, and you start to hear him talking, it's like you as the audience realize, oh, he's changed. Like he's very arrogant, and he's not at all trying to understand her. And like, I felt terrible.
I think I think he's trying to understand, but it's one of those things where he's past. It's one of those things when someone's like, not everyone recovers the same, and I think he thinks the issue is like similar to his issue or something like that, when you overcome something or deal with something, and that's not how she wants to handle it or something like that is what you know what I mean? Because I feel like today now we kind of like not everyone is the same. People recover or deal with issues very differently now, and they all have to understand each other. Like okay, this person needs more time, or this person needs a little more help, or something like it's a very is what I've seen how differently like over time and how people handle things or something like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, everybody handles things differently, and
yeah.
People in general I think are a bit more open-minded about that. But he was not.
Yeah.
But he was just too. I felt like he got too powerful, too confident, and he lost like I felt like one or two movies prior, if Mary Jane had come to him like this, he would have just like, oh my gosh, I'm so sorry, what can I do for you? Like,
yeah,
he lost some of his gentleness and his, not that he didn't care about her, but he didn't care about her the way that He wasn't as empathetic, not as compassionate.
Yeah.
He lost a little bit of that, I think.
He also didn't entirely know the situation that she was dealing with. He
You're
didn't realize she'd been
defending
fired
him.
or something like
Stop.
that.
I'm
Like-
defending her. You're defending him. I thought he was a jerk. Okay.
I'm so, but it's like look at the compared to the last movie, he was brutally like beat down by the public, by everyone. And now suddenly everybody loves him. He's happy. He's finally got a stable life. He's finally got he's able to see his girlfriend at his shows. He's able to like save the world and people love him or something. And then suddenly like it all comes crashing down on him again. And it's kind of it's one of those things where it's like, when you finally get somewhere and then suddenly it starts to hurt. But yeah, he was definitely not. Again, he didn't understand the moment, but he was definitely not. He definitely could have been better. Definitely, that was the point that I'm.
Yeah.
I was like,
I think he was on like just a power trip. But I feel like this is a pattern of behavior you see in general with people in positions of power. They get too confident and they think they're untouchable and they can do anything and there's no consequences and they know everything and understand everything and they lose sight of.
I'm talking about the last movie, EMXC. Sorry.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. No, I knew what you're talking about. In the last movie, they didn't like him as much.
Yeah.
But
yeah, I think you agree. This is one moment where his ego really swells because of that's the thing is when somebody when they get popular or something, like they start to, it's like the popular kid sort of thing.
Mm-hmm.
They get power, not hungry.
They go on a power trip.
They just don't really think about things in the moment with their power or something like that.
Yeah.
But yeah.
So I felt for Mary Jane, and I didn't like how he handled it, and But it was weird to see your superhero be imperfect, and he lost that humanness a little bit. Yeah. But anyway, so yeah, it was disappointing to see that they did not get engaged. I thought it was funny with the restaurant guy in the background. I don't know what you call him.
Oh yeah.
But
Chris Campbell. Yeah. Oh gosh, I forgot his name, but he's been cameoing in all three movies. He was in the fighting arena announcer guy, and then he was the guy that stopped Peter from getting into Mary Jane's show.
That's cool that they keep reusing him.
Yeah, he's Bruce Campbell is what I'm thinking. Yeah, who I think I've heard a rumor or something, but this is like an old one. But I think he was going to be Mysterio. He was planned to be Mysterio, in the Maguire era.
Oh,
so,
okay.
Yeah.
Oh, that would have been interesting.
Which I think would have been interesting, but yeah.
Bruce is a legend. Cool. Ashy Slashy? What is that?
Yeah. Cool. Yeah, especially in that engagement conversation. A lot of things didn't back up because Gwen Stacy shows up, and that's right after.
Oh, that's right.
That's right after the kiss that he had with her.
That scene I didn't like.
Yeah, that's the moment where it all snaps
She's
for
just
Mary Jane, and he's
massaging him. I would.
He's
never
trying
ever...
to explain himself, but he's also this. Yeah, it was like, why would you? Yeah, especially again, why would you kiss her? I know you was peer pressure from the public or something, but still, it's why Spider-Man? It's kind of exposing your mask or something.
Wait, they didn't kiss it by that point, did they? Or did they?
The ceremony happened before the engagement. Sort of thing.
Okay.
That's why. Yeah.
Well, the kiss was another example of him being too arrogant, too sure of himself.
Yeah.
It's I'm untouchable. I can kiss anybody. It doesn't mean anything. But
yeah.
To your girlfriend, yeah, I would have broke up with him right then and there if I saw that. And then she comes into the restaurant. She's massaging his shoulder. I would never ever touch another woman's man. And anybody's man. I wouldn't touch anybody's man. You don't do that. If they're taken, you don't touch them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. That actually does remind me, like when I said like visual storytelling, but also like there's very different kind of filmmaking with this one. It's that shots. There's a like very long takes, and I'm thinking about that one time where he tells Aunt May that he's gonna marry MJ,
Mm-hmm.
and she actually has this very long story about her and Uncle Ben that they have. Like she explains that story of how Uncle Ben engaged her, and it's a very long scene,
Mm-hmm.
but it's a very nice moment where they kind of where she explains, you know, what happened, and that they didn't get married, they didn't get engaged right away. They waited until they were ready or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, it's very nice. Like it's again, this is sweet old like grandma Aunt May
Uh-huh.
sort of time. Which I always, like thinking about, it's always funny. Is like how like he's, I guess, like almost 30, but yeah, she's almost like, she almost looks like she'd be like 70 or something. It's like, and she's an aunt.
She's probably a great aunt. That's kind of what
yeah.
I assumed. It was like a great aunt, great uncle.
Yeah, maybe.
But I don't know the history.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a very sweet story.
Yeah.
I liked hearing that, and she says to him, like you're ready to get married when you're ready to put her first or something like that.
Yeah.
And we see that he wasn't, and he eventually, by the end of the movie, realizes that he's not.
Yeah. Definitely. This is I think is the lesson is knowing not to get too egotistic or big-headed or something like that. Not to get too high and mighty.
Mm-hmm.
Like, remember, you're still a superhero. You're still responsible. You still got all that sort of stuff. And as a person to the woman you love, you have to be there for her. You have to make sure you are responsible. You have to make sure you are caring. Like, you have to make sure she's first, sort of a thing. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. That love is more important than power.
Yeah.
So.
Which.
And forgiveness.
Yeah. Which is, power is definitely revealed with this new little alien fella. That
was weird. I realized the people who are familiar with the comics, it wasn't weird for them. But as somebody who isn't, and I was watching this kind of movie unfold, I was frustrated that wasn't explained. The I guess the Venom, became Venom.
The
black
the character, it's called a symbiote. Like they're symbiotes. That's what they're, the little species or aliens or whatever they're called. But Venom is the character that basically,
photographer.
It's kind of really weird to explain, but basically it's like first it bonds with Peter and becomes like black suited Spider-Man, and then it bonds with Eddie, which is that character in this, but it's a very different kind of Eddie, and it becomes Venom, like its own character of sorts when it possesses Eddie. So, and as it says, like it enhances, very negative traits, or like it tries to coexist with its host, but it also tries to get what it wants. It's a very malicious being of sorts. But this movie doesn't quite do Venom properly, I would say. Like,
it was very brief.
Venom's much more of a character than he was in this one. This one's much more of just an ooze, an alien, a thing that messes with people. Not really. It's not its own character.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I felt like they didn't spend a lot of time with him. Once he was in the suit and I saw him, I was like, oh, I feel like I've seen like photos of this or whatever. Like I recognize him, but obviously didn't know who he was. So I was really surprised. So I was like, okay, obviously he's important, he's significant. He's got to be from the comics. But
Yeah.
I felt like they didn't spend a lot of time with him. Like, it was really towards the end of the movie, I think, that we,
Yeah.
start
There
to
was not a lot of
see
time
him.
spent on him. And that is another thing with the studio interference is they wanted Venom, but the director did not. He wanted to focus on Sandman, which was the other character that was in this movie,
Um,
who yeah, was another one of Spider-Man's villains, but also like they did really good with this character in this movie.
I was gonna say
Sandman.
they did a good job with him. Really fleshed him out. I I was weirded out. I don't know. I don't know how else to explain it. Like, I was weirded out by his appearance, ability. It was weird for me. I'm like
Hmm.
he's sand, and then you tell me
It
the
wasn't.
movie
Yeah, it wasn't
Sandman. I'm
really
like,
explained.
what's that?
It was. It's kind of. It's not really detailedly explained what happened to him. Like some science
None
mumbo
of them are.
jumbo.
It was Venom or like again. Well, yeah. I didn't. Yeah.
Yeah,
Back to that whole Venom thing.
yeah. That's the thing. There's like there's like too many villains or
Yeah.
things happening in this movie, and that's kind of why it's also very disliked. Is there's too much and too little time.
And
So,
like again, maybe majority of their viewers read the comics or are familiar with them, so they didn't need the backstory. But I was like, what the hell is this thing
yeah,
that came out from the sky and this black ooze? Like, I wanted to understand what that was. I felt like if it was
yeah,
if it was the recent Marvel movies, they would have explained it.
yeah,
Same with what exactly happened to the creation of Salmon. I mean, that was interesting, but it was
yeah.
just
That's
weird. The dirt, the mud, the dust. It was I just was
yeah.
weirded out by it.
Um,
But his story was
but
very
yeah,
compelling and um,
yeah,
very sad.
yeah.
Um,
And I was like rewatching and I was wishing I was like, they do again. This is really good moments with Sandman when, especially like the birth of Sandman when he comes back together or something, and he's
mhm.
slowly trying to form his body
Yeah,
back
yeah.
after all that. And of course, he like has to takes a lot of concentration to keep all your grains together. So
Keep your grains together.
yeah.
I would rip this movie apart. I'm sure you would. The movie's completely destroyed, dude.
Yeah.
Tom Hardy Venom is so much better. Tom Hardy.
Yeah. Then we have new Goblin, Harry's Goblin, also in this movie. He shows up at the very beginning.
Yeah, another sad, story. But
Yeah.
when he got amnesia, when like him and Spider-Man had their fight, and
Yeah.
he gets
Yeah, and
amnesia.
he gets hit on the head and knocked out.
I
And
was
he
like glad. I
gets
was like, oh, good, he doesn't remember anything. They could be friends again. I was like, oh, I love this, and whatever. And then
yeah, he's honest. He's so good when he
yeah,
was like happy or something. It was like it was like it's like for the last couple of movies we didn't really see this happy Harry. We
hmm
saw a very
serious.
grumbly Harry, but this time he was much more joyous
hmm
in that moment.
Yeah.
And yeah, I didn't really like him. I think I really like him in this movie is because I forgot about how odd he was in the first two because I
Uh-huh.
remember him more from this movie.
Right. Um.
um,
Yeah,
but yeah,
yeah, he played that part very well, but I was like happy. I was like, oh, it's like look, the three of them together, it's wonderful. But then like the ghost or spirit of his father comes
yeah,
back and he remembers everything, and he wants to kill Peter, and
yeah,
um,
yeah. He wants to destroy Peter,
yeah,
not yeah, in a very brutal way by taking away things that he loves or and all that, and
like
then
Mary Jane, yeah,
just like also it's interesting once he becomes like evil again, he does this very creepy way of doing it too. He's a very um slithery kind of evil with it.
yeah. um,
Yeah. Uh, yeah.
but
And
I
then
like.
then of course you go ahead.
I would say, but I like how when Mary Jane was captured or whatever by Venom and Sandman or whatever. I like
Yeah.
how Peter and Harry came together to
Yeah.
save Mary Jane. I mean, Harry was resistant at first, of course, um,
Mhm.
but
Yeah.
it was nice seeing them work together. And
they had a very brutal fight before
yeah,
where they where Peter's got the suit, the evil symbiote suit on, and that's incident, and that's of course after New Goblin he kind of breaks him and Mary Jane up.
yeah,
So Peter's basically tensions are high and they snap and they both go after each other, and and then Peter almost kills him. Well, kills him with his own grenade or something, sort of
yeah.
thing. But yeah, and then that's when he turned into emo Peter Bully McGuire turns into starts dancing in the street, starts being more confident, trying taking charge of the.
Mm-hmm.
He's challenging his boss even.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a funny scene now, but it's one of those this is very different from normal Peter.
Yeah. He had already started becoming arrogant, a little too sure of himself,
Yeah.
and then this suit just kind of this thing, whatever it was, enhanced those traits, and it made him intolerable.
Yeah.
What about the part where Peter knocked Mary Jane down? Ooh.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah,
that was
that was the moment where he kind of he realized, oh, this is bad. That was that moment. But yeah. And that's the thing with again yeah, it's a very heartbreaking scene because you really see how far he's been torn down, both with the suit and what he's done.
Yeah.
Just everything. And then he finally rips it off. Basically, he has to literally rip the suit off.
Yeah.
Because it's fighting to stay on him. And
didn't even
that's
look
where
to see if anybody was around.
Yeah. I mean, I don't even know if he was wearing anything under there too. He probably had to swing back to find clothes. Yeah. That's where you also learn that the symbiotes are weak to sound waves.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, which is a very cool thing.
Yeah, that was interesting. How in the end that was how he defeated him with the.
Also, we have his neighbors. I mean, we never really talked about his neighbors from the last movie or something.
Mm-hmm.
The guy who's always asking for rent and his daughter.
Cute. She's so adorable, and you could tell
they're so good. They're
I love her.
Sure, they're oh, she's so good. I mean, he's actually there's that moment where he's when Peter yells at him, he's good. That's not normal. He kind of understands that Peter's going through something, even though he wants his rent.
Yeah, I like her. I like how she clearly likes Peter. Obviously, we saw that in the second movie. But I love in this movie how she still likes Peter, but she was rooting for him and Mary Jane.
She's rooting. She's rooting for MJ and him. And it's so sweet.
Even though these movies don't show strong women, they do show women supporting women, which is so rare and nice to see.
Yeah. I forgot to explain Gwen.
Explain Gwen.
Gwen Stacy.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, Gwen Stacy was actually in the comics Peter's first girlfriend. It was not Mary Jane. It was Gwen Stacy.
Oh.
So yeah, So Gwen and Peter were actually together before MJ joined the. I think this is before MJ even debuted.
Interesting.
Yeah. So yeah, but eventually Gwen Stacy broke up with Peter, and then he finally saw Mary Jane, and was yeah. And we're okay. MJ basically in the comics was I'm the best you're ever going to have. That's kind of how they introduce her. Is like, I'm the best girl you're ever going to get, sort of thing.
Aw.
Kind of power.
Well, that's
What's the
cool. I
word?
didn't
Power
know
moves. Yeah, that's what it was. Very
that.
powerful.
I did not know that Gwen came before Mary Jane.
Yeah,
Is
yeah.
is
Peter's had
there
a lot of girlfriends over the time, depending on the situation or the time that they write the story. Like sometimes it's MJ, sometimes it's Gwen, sometimes it's another character that they've introduced. Yeah,
is there
but
is there a Gwen in the new Spider-Man movies?
yeah, there's a Gwen in the new Spider-Man movies. So,
Who is it?
hmm?
Like when I say the new Spider-Man movies, I mean like the first few that I already saw. Like
Oh, you mean the MCU?
yeah, yeah.
No, there's
Okay.
not been a Gwen in the MCU yet.
Okay, I was just curious if she was like in the
Okay,
background and I missed it.
yeah. If there has been, I might have missed it myself. So I don't know, but I'm pretty sure I
Chat,
haven't. There
where's
hasn't been a
Captain
Gwen.
Spike? Where are you, Captain Spike?
Hang on a second. Just reload
um,
that. But yeah. So yeah. Uh, yeah.
there is no Gwen in
So
the MCU yet.
that's
Cool. Okay.
Gwen. We had actually a proper Stan Lee cameo in this one too.
Yeah, I know. I was so excited.
So it's a good one.
Yeah.
Especially yeah. I always like the ones with him Spider-Man ones because it's like Spider-Man is like his sort of thing,
His baby.
his favorite
Mm-hmm.
hero to work on. I think.
Yeah.
Very cool. So it's really nice. Yeah, and we have Eddie Brock. Yeah, there's just so many characters in this movie.
Mm-hmm. Which one is Eddie?
Eddie Brock is the one that Venom becomes. Basically, like that's
Okay.
the other photographer guy. Yeah, who is from the comics.
Mm-hmm.
Is basically Venom's main host of sorts, like the one that where Venom actually becomes like the monstrous creature that he is. Sometimes he's a villain, sometimes he's an anti-hero, but in this one he's a villain, and he's much bigger in the comics. Like he's He's kind of more of a hulking creature than the kind of Spider-Man being that he is in this one. So it's another interesting little thing.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah.
One of the most gut-wrenching scenes, beautiful scenes. Well, there was a few at the end, but when you find out earlier in the movie that the guy who's Sandman or whatever actually shot Peter's uncle.
Yeah.
So so Peter goes on this whole like vengeance. He wants payback. He wants to kill him. This whole thing.
Yeah.
But there was this moment at the end where they were kind of like they're face to face, and he Sandman whatever explains to Peter what actually happened that night, and that he didn't intentionally kill him. His uncle was trying to like calm him down and tell him to go home, and he like sounded like he almost did, but then the other guy who stole the money bumped into him, and the gun accidentally went off.
Yeah, and he accidentally fired.
Yeah, and like, he didn't mean to kill him, and he just ran, and like he felt bad about what happened, and Peter is like quietly crying, and then he says, "I forgive you," and I was like, "Oh my god!" Like that's so hard for anyone to forgive something like that.
Yeah,
but it was so beautiful that scene.
They did so good with Sandman in this movie. Like they could have done more, but because of so many villains and everything else. Because I think this is like the Sam Raimi is like this was supposed to be Sandman's movie, sort of a thing. But of course because of studios. But yeah, they did with what they did really good in my honest. Because he's sympathetic. He's just trying to help. And he did bad things, and he knows he did bad things.
Yeah. Sam and Kung Uncle Ben was a big issue with comic book readers because it's not what happened in the comics, but I think they somewhat pulled it off in the film.
Okay,
Yeah,
I did not.
I mean, obviously, I didn't know what really happened in the comments, but I went back and forth, with this.
Yeah,
In the
because kind
movie
of out of
as
the
I was,
blue.
I went
This,
back and forth with this when I was watching this in the movie because I was like, such a big part of Peter's growth was living with the fact that he was part of the reason that his uncle died. Like he had to
yeah,
carry that, and um, it kind of drove
yeah,
him, a little bit. And then all of a sudden it was like, oh no, just kidding, it wasn't really your fault. Like, I don't know. So I felt like that kind of
I never
changed,
thought of it like that.
his motivation. It changed something that his character went through. I mean, again, I guess you could say it still was. He might still be dealing with that because the guy was the one who bumped into the guy who
Yeah,
shot him. So maybe. But
yeah.
that's kind of
The
how I
guy
looked
was
at
still
it.
involved with his
Yeah.
uncle's death.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, that it is kind of it is interesting, like because again, it's like especially like this definitely feels again. I almost want to say I don't say like out of the blue, but it's like first we have like this person took out their uncle, and then a few years later, suddenly now it's this person, and
Hmm.
it's like after they've caught him too.
Yeah. And then only to find out it was kind of the fault of the original guy. Just
Yeah,
nobody intended to kill anybody, but it just kind of
hmm,
accidentally happened. I don't
yeah,
know.
but yeah, I think yeah, but again, I think they did really good with how they told this story, especially for Peter, like to have him. There's a lot of like forgiveness and coming to terms with things that with bad things that people have done in
Yeah.
this movie, like with Peter, with Harry, with
Say right after, yeah,
uh,
right after, I think it was right after
Sandman.
Sandman, whatever. Then,
Yeah,
Peter goes to Harry, and Mary Jane is there, and he's dying, and there's this beautiful sunset, and it's like the three of
yeah,
them are,
they
are together, and there's love and forgiveness there, and, his death was just, it was very
yeah,
sad. Hey,
yeah,
wasn't Salmon in that
they did
TV
really
show
good.
Wings? He was really good in that.
I do.
I used to watch
Um,
that.
I never watched
It's
that.
been a long time ago.
Oh wait a minute, I think I know.
Not
Wait,
that I'm
that's
that
like
old
the
or
one that's
anything,
connected with Frasier, right? Like Frasier and Cheers. Yeah, isn't Wings like part of that canon? Because like Frasier, I think occasionally showed up in there. I've just remembered that. I'm not seeing Wings, but I do like remember like
He
a
was in
moment.
Cheers?
Probably,
Hold on.
yeah.
What's his name? What's the actor's
The
name?
actor, I do not know.
Sandman. Mr. Sandman. Played
Just sit down and watch
by
them.
Thomas
I,
Hayden Church. Is that him?
Thomas Hayden Church.
Yeah. All right, we're Wikipediaing him. He was on Wings, playing the lead for 2 seasons in Ned and Stacy. Spider-Man 3, Spider-Man No Way Home.
Oh, yeah.
Now I know. Who was he on Cheers though?
Probably the same character that he was on Wings.
His character
Maybe.
delivers a love letter to Carla from her deceased former lover Eddie. In a Cheers episode, not like a regular.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. He was
Yeah.
quite good in this.
Yeah, as Captain Spike said, like that's interesting. Like the way Harry died was, he died by a glider, just like his dad, but he died saving his friend instead of
I
like
didn't
his
think of
father
that,
trying
yeah.
to kill him.
I like the parallel.
Um,
Yeah, I
I
didn't realize that.
and I do. It honestly is kind of one of those weird things, but I like how I think one of my favorite scenes is how Venom is defeated. Basically,
Mhm.
like you show Peter like using all the pipes and everything and trying to he's trying to get Eddie out, but he's also trying to basically keep the thing subdued.
Yeah. Yeah, he did try to save him, but
Yeah,
did not go as
but
planned.
he, it's like again, it's like a drug. You want to get
Mhm.
that stuff, and that's what Eddie and really felt from the suit from the Venom stuff. Is it basically makes you it makes you better in a
Mhm.
way, but it has a malicious intent behind it.
Yeah.
Like it uses you by giving you what you kind of desire.
Mhm.
But yeah, and then we have the funeral for Harry, who we also have like we had that moment with Harry's butler, who I don't he was good. He was a good butler in this movie. It's like
You buttled very
um,
well.
can you hear the can you hear the helicopter?
I hear a sound in the distance, but I can't really tell what it is.
Yeah, there's a helicopter flying overhead.
What did you do?
I've been home trying to
Mhm.
survive.
Doing what exactly?
Um, threw me off. But yeah, and then we have that ending moment with uh, Peter and MJ just realizing that no idea what they're gonna do, but they're gonna try and do it.
Mhm. They kind of came back together. That's not
Yep.
squirrels. That's a
And
helicopter.
yep, that's how this trilogy ended. Squirrel stepped to the game. Ha! I caught the chopper.
Oh gosh.
But yeah, what did you think of the original Spider-Man
The
trilogy?
trilogy as a whole. I liked it. I liked it a lot more than I thought I would. Because I really enjoyed the new Spider-Man.
Yeah.
Like I still feel like I would rewatch the new Spider-Man probably a bit more, only because this one was
Mhm.
just there was so many sad moments, and and I can't take Mary Jane screaming.
Yeah, yeah. Again, like Mary Jane is in trouble again for the third time around.
Oh, I just yeah. I mean, again, I realized even though it was what is it, 13, 14 years, I don't know how many years ago it was, 15 years ago, um, 14, it was a different time. And I feel like nowadays you're less likely to see a female role written like
Yeah.
that frequently in a
Yeah.
row.
Although to be fair, if you were in that situation, I don't think you'd be calm.
No, I wouldn't be calm, but I would be trying to get the
I
hell
wouldn't
out
be
of
calm
there.
if I was barely hanging from like wires and other things. But yeah.
But like even the part where he
Um,
hit her or whatever and she went flying. If somebody did that to me, I would get right up and I would kick him in the nuts. Like
yeah.
like I mean really she was shocked, she
Yeah.
was hurt, but like stand up for yourself. Kick him where it hurts.
Yeah.
I don't know.
That's an interesting thing about Spider-Man is he actually pulls his punches. He could actually like hurt people if he really punched hard and was serious.
Flash Thompson showed up at Harry's funeral.
That is, yeah, I noticed that. I caught that. I was like, wait, like actually, like they got that actor to come back for like a one shot. That was like the bully from the first movie. That was like MJ's boyfriend at the time.
Oh.
Yeah,
Wow.
I caught him and I was just like, wait a minute, he's in this movie. It was such it just caught me off guard. But yeah, yeah. So
Faceman Buddha, hello,
yeah,
how are you?
Yeah, not a perfect movie, but I honestly like this one look, like I like this one. I don't hate it like everyone else does.
Yeah, I don't hate it either. I thought they did a good job with it. I'm not going to say it's my favorite, but they did
Yeah.
really well. Again,
Yeah.
I always like a movie that makes me feel something, and
And this one definitely does a
made
good
me
job.
feel a lot of
making-
things.
making feels.
Hmm.
But yeah, so yeah, because of the studios and everything and the directed stuff, they did not did not make a fourth one.
It's okay.
Which yeah, I think even the plan was to bring Vulture in. So like they were gonna bring Vulture into like the next movie or something.
Hmm.
Okay, yeah, it's true. But yeah, like I think there was plans to continue on because Spider-Man has a lot of villains,
Hmm.
and they tried, I guess, but yeah, after studio interference and everything, the director Sam Raimi was like, "Nope, I'm not doing that again. So we're done. No more Spider-Man."
Yeah.
But because the studio is Sony, like they have to basically make a movie in order to hold the rights.
Hmm.
So they rebooted Spider-Man, and that's where we're going to be going next, which is the new Spider-Man movies with Andrew Garfield.
This is a lot of work.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's my chair.
I'm very curious to see what you think of those because they are different. They're different from these movies and from the MCU. I'd say they're like each Spider-Man has its own unique spin of things.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah.
I really like this Super Spy video of you as Padme. Oh, thank you. I had so much fun making that. Yeah,
your Padme was good.
TikTok is getting me into some cosplay and stuff. I had my sister go into her attic and dig out her Princess Leia costume, so now I have it. So there's going to be more cosplay.
Which one? Is it the white one?
Not the slave one, okay? The one from episode
Come on.
may or may not
those
own
are
it,
easier.
but you're
Those
not going to see it. Episode 4.
Yeah, the original dress.
Mm-hmm.
Darn it.
There are girls who are slave one. There are some girls on TikTok who are very, very confident and have no problem wearing the slave Leia costume on TikTok. So if anyone wants to see that, just go onto TikTok.
Yeah, there's plenty of people who you can look
I
up
give
for
them
that.
credit. They look fabulous. They all look fabulous, but I do not have the guts to do that. I'll wear like
Captain Marvel is like your limit so far.
I'll wear like a flesh-colored turtleneck underneath it. Made Leia. Come on, Sister Nerdy, you have failed me. Anyway. All right.
Yeah. So, yeah, we now have you. You have now officially seen this trilogy.
I have. We've seen it. I'm done.
Which are from.
On to the next.
Yeah, from 2002, from the early 2000s, basically. This actually, 2007. So this is right before Iron Man first came out. So 2008.
Oh, interesting.
So yeah, this like ended right as the MCU started.
Huh. Did not know that. I'm willing to do some negotiations if Lucy does my holiday stream. I might be coerced into agreeing to that.
So
okay.
wait, holiday special stream?
Holiday special stream, tentatively, will be Friday, December 17th.
Oh boy.
Trying to get Lucy to do a little...
The original holiday special, right?
My holiday special.
Oh,
yeah,
I thought you were gonna watch the holiday special.
I watched that already for the season. I watch it every year, but I've watched it for the season.
Ah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I gotta watch the. I forgot her name.
All right, we'll have
the Tatooine bar.
Oh yeah.
What was her name?
B. Arthur.
Oh man.
Oh, I don't remember her name in the thing, but B. Arthur.
B. Arthur. Yeah, that's what it is. That's
I love
yeah.
that.
I didn't remember what. Yeah.
It's like, they make like the Golden Girls canon. In my mind.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay.
All right, guys. Well, I will be watching, I guess, the next Spider-Man movie.
The Amazing Spider-Man.
Oh, the
is what
Amazing
is
Spider-Man.
The Amazing
Talk
series.
about
Yeah.
being a little sure of yourself. All right.
Yeah.
Well,
There's Spider-Man, the Amazing Spider-Man, and Spider-Man Home series because Homecoming, Far From Home, No Way Home.
okay. Okay. All right. So yeah, I will be watching that, the first one, next week.
Mhm.
What if I watch 2 for next week?
Huh?
I threw you a curveball. What if I watch both movies for next Friday? We talked about
Like double feature
a double
and
feature.
talk about both
Yeah,
of them?
possibly. I'll see if I
Yeah,
can do
we
it.
could do that. I'm totally up for that.
I could see if I could do that.
But, yeah.
I might be able
Yeah,
to.
that can
Okay.
that'll definitely like save us
some
time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm just thinking about that. I was like,
Because
I could do that.
we missed a week.
Yeah.
We'll see.
We all had.
We'll let you all know.
We had health issues, both of us.
Yep.
Good times. Good times.
No.
No, he had. I think you had it worse than I did, even though I was miserable.
I
but-
mean, yours is probably just as
You're more
just
miserable.
as
No,
annoying.
you're more miserable.
I'll say
You're
that.
more miserable. You're more miserable. I had a horrible sinus infection for like 2 or 3 weeks, and just a little. I was feeling better, and then like yesterday, all of a sudden my nose starts running again, and I'm like, I'm starting to think that I'm allergic to something in my house. It's the only thing I can think of because this has just been like on and off since September.
Huh.
No fever, just congestion.
And we don't know when, but we'll probably talk about the new Spider-Man movie when we can see it, but it will not be the immediate week or something. It'll be within the following week, I guess.
I'm gonna try to watch it around the holidays. I'm gonna try to get out and watch it around the holidays. So,
yeah.
Shortly after that, did you catch your nose after it started running? With the tissue.
Yeah.
Diet, of course. What would work out if you?
I'm happy to be back.
Yeah. It feels good to be back. Yeah, it feels good.
So we'll be talking about 1 or 2 Spider-Man movies, and Nerdy will maybe have her reaction to the new trailer.
Yeah, we could throw that in there.
Yeah. We'll see.
Yeah.
So.
All right. Guys, thanks so much for coming, for watching, for hanging out with us, for chatting with us, for sharing your tidbits of information, for making us laugh. Good times. So, thank you for hanging out with us. We hope everybody has a wonderful weekend. I'm going to head on over to Twitch in a few minutes if y'all want to come and hang out and play SWTOR hide and seek or PvP. I don't know what we're doing, but hope everybody has a great rest of the night, and we will see you all next Friday on our next stream. Bye, everyone.